that this grave, that 27 people are lying on this grave. And by God's grace, we are going to build this grave. It's yet to be built because people are still mourning. People are still in trauma. So we allow people to subside in their pain. So that we come one day, we'll rebuild this monument. And the name of the people that have been destroyed, killed, together with children, we all label it out as that of Dogona Hawa. My fellow brothers, as I'm here, people were crying. Why should Sheikh Gumi open his mouth and say it was an empty corpse? All Nigerian lawyers, I'm begging you in the name of Jesus Christ, those that have the heart of Christ, the Son, we are going to sue Sheikh Gumi, and this place, they are going to guide it. I've told the security, the youths, all the youths, make sure you guide it because Fulani terrorists are still coming back to come and remove the corpse. So that to prove to their shame that it was an empty corpse. So another war has been raised. All Birom youth should be on red alert. War is on ground already. Sheikh Gumi has said war. We are in pain, but he has more pain to us. 27 people are on the ground. And he's saying it's an empty cross. Director of SSS, the GOC, Chief of Staff. Let me tell you, if all of you are not terrorists, you will all be present here. The youth, we are ever ready. We are going to dig the graves. World press, camera should come to this place. We are ready to remove the corpse before the eyes of anybody. I will open the coffin one after the other. World press, send your press to this place. American press, Canada, I'm begging you. World press, Al Jazeera, I'm begging you, come to this place. Fox News, come. Let us dig. Because Sheikh Gumi says it's an empty grave. We are not a religion of liars. Christianity doesn't lie. They know. But Islam is a religion of liars. So the children of Islam are a bunch of liars. They came out and said there's no genocide. And the so-called Khan, they joined them. Because their light is dead. They don't have any light again. They have lost their saltiness. That's why Islam is marching on Khan and give them a decision what they will do. Come and see what is happening. As I'm going around, the last grave, that can take 27 people, and it took 27 people that are right here on the ground. This is the distance. As the grave is so large, because the people that can order this is the High Court, Court of Judges. The Chief Judge, they have to give order until I meet our lawyers. And I will challenge the federal government for not arresting Gumi. If it is a Christian that says that it's all corpses that have been buried in Zamfara Casina, I could have been in danger. The Council of Islamic.
We know their parents.
You know them as a government?
Of course we do. They live with I mean, with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand, for those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara, have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher. The story that was out there with the change of the commandant was that he raised some concerns and accusations that the outfit is not being equipped and is not being funded to fight the war you have set us up for. And then he was changed a couple of weeks after.
That is not true. If you had listened to the police when he was arrested and interrogated, it was a different story. What we found out was that he was fully involved in that operation in Mada. The records are there. You can get this information from the Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State. So it's not true.
Great. Mr. Governor, I'd like to take you back to my first question when I asked you about what your state was actually dealing with. Because we hear banditry in Zamfara in the northwest of Nigeria. But by our understanding, and the simplest definition of banditry, involves groups of armed thieves. So these are thieves with just arms. Yet the challenge seems, grave, that the northwest, and particularly Zamfara State, is not able to deal with a group of thieves who have arms. So do you feel the narrative is correct to say what you're dealing with in your state is banditry, or is it something more grave than that?
Well, I mean, it all depends on classification. You can call them bandits, you can call them thieves, you can call them any name. But my understanding is what will be the reason for these banditry activities. That is number one. Two, if you talk about Niger Delta, I will say yes, there's an economic reason why people are fighting to get certain things. If you look at Boko Haram, you will say that it's a religious issue because they believe in their faith, and therefore they want to defend their faith. What is the reason in Zamfara? We are the same people, 99.9% same religion. So what is the reason? What are they fighting for? This is the question.
Have you been able to find an answer to that question?
That is still what we're trying to do, because I cannot understand why. And imagine if today they're going after government officials. They say, okay, they have grievances with government officials, but they kill innocent people that barely even eat 1 square meal in a day. What could have been the reason? That must be crazy. And that is still what we're trying to find out. And to deal with that is you need to deal with these people decisively.
And in taking that decisive measures, let's talk about the role of the federal government in all of this, because so far it's been your effort we've talked about. How much of an influence does the federal government have in, or has in, fighting this war with you in Zamfara State? What's been the involvement of federal government?
The security situation is not just for Zamfara. It's across all the northern part. However, Zamfara play a dominant role in terms of the banditry because this is where they hibernate. They move from Zamfara to Katsina, Niger, Kaduna, Sokoto, and so on and so forth. And it's the responsibility of federal government to provide safety of people, lives and property, which is the security forces that include the military, the police, as well as civil defense. Yeah, they're doing their best. However, there's a need to do more to deal with these guys decisively. Like I said, we know where these guys are. We know where they live. We know their parents.
You know them as a government?
Of course we do. They live with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand, for those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara, have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher.
It is something that we are trying to all put our heads together. That is why, from what I can do as a governor, to have this CPG as a first line of defense. Of course, military are there, police are there, as well as civil defense, but they are not under my control. They are under the control of federal government, and they are doing their best. And like I said also, our security forces have the ability to crush these guys.
But they are not.
They're trying their best.
Trying their best.
Like what happened within the last 3 days when one of the major kingpin, Halilu Sububu, was killed. It is a combination of both military as well as the CPG and the community that made it possible. And I commend them for that.
Okay, I wanted to take you back to one of the questions you raised tonight about what is fueling this in Zamfara, because you seem to say, I mean, it doesn't look like there's a religion undertone to it. The people they kill are also poor, so they're
very poor,
very
for that
poor.
matter.
So there is no
barely
reason
surviving.
To go after them. But there's a question of the mining, the natural resources in Zamfara state. Don't you think that is enough to fuel all of this in Zamfara state? And I wanted you to answer if the ban placed by the federal government is still in place on mining in your state.
The ban has been in place since 2018, so it's nothing new. I also met it. What I did on my own part is to also make sure the traditional institution do not give this consent form or consent letter for any mining activity in Zamfara state. And it's one reason why we had to issue an executive order that will stop giving out consent letters on mining by traditional rulers. Now, yes, there is a kind of correlation between insecurity and mining. And that's the reason why we're making conscious effort to have a clear understanding between the state and the federal government on what will be the best way to go about it. Of course, it's about revenue as far as I'm concerned. If we're able to get it together and make it functional, that means there's an additional revenue that will be coming to state government, which will be used in making some significant projects that will be for the benefit of our people. And I'm happy there's that synergy now between the state and the federal government in terms of mining activities on what will be the way forward. We're trying to fine-tune the whole thing.
Okay, so if I understand you, this ban on mining that has been in place hasn't really shifted the needle in terms of the nexus between mining or illegal mining and security in the state.
What I'm hearing is that some of the bandits are also engaged in some mining activities. For example, the guy that was killed 3 days ago, the Halilu Sububu. But the rest are just artisanal miners, so to say. So it is something, like I say, we're trying to fine-tune to understand what is really happening and what would be the best way to make it effective and functional, so that in the long run, there will be revenue coming to both federal and the state government.
Military officers exposed Nigeria Army and federal government dealings with terrorists on Christian massacre in the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 14th of November 2025, and I have breaking information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from wherever you are all over the world. Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news, because it's very, very important, I can assure you, my people. Soldiers of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigerian Army have come out to confess, and they have said, or should I say, they have indicted the Army of the Zoo and the federal government of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigeria over their dealings with so-called repentant Boko Haram to massacre and annihilate the innocent Christians in the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigeria. I do not want to talk too much. We are going to read together in details. And as you can see on your screen, I'll be reading from Sahara Reporters, one of Nigeria's media platforms. I want this very news to get to America. In fact, I want Donald Trump to see it. So those of you Nigerians in America, the lovers of freedom in America, and then the Biafrans in America, it is your duty, you are under obligation to share this very news, especially those of you on Facebook. You must make sure that you share this very broadcast for it to get to Donald Trump. Very, very, very important for them to understand what is going on. Now, this is not propaganda. It's not from me. Sahara Reporters is owned by a former Nigerian presidential candidate. It has nothing to do with Biafra matters, right? This is strictly authentic news from Nigeria. And it is very, very important to note that this very platform, Sahara Reporters, cannot report anything negative against Nigeria. It is not possible because the owner of this platform is once a presidential candidate of Nigeria. You understand? So you must understand this. Therefore, anything that they report that goes against the zoo, it is authentic, 100%. Now, you all know what has been happening, in the zoo between America and Nigeria, how Donald Trump and the American army is preparing to come and take the bull by its horn. But now we have more confession, and this very confession from zoo soldiers, Nigerian army officers, is going to help America government and the American army to know how they are, how things are going, and also to prepare themselves for battles ahead. And according to their headline, they said, exclusive soldiers raise alarm as Nigerian army forces them to work with repentant Boko Haram fighters they don't trust. Remember that. They don't trust. Now let's read. According to multiple military forces who spoke exclusively to Sahara Reporters, the soldiers said their commanders were forcing them to patrol, share intelligence, and even live in the same camps with former Boko Haram members who surrendered to the government despite deep distrust and repeated cases of betrayal. Oh! You don't need much. I'm not sure you need any further information that they were forced to work with Boko Haram members. These are Nigerian military officers, so confessing. I'm not the one here making up stories. Zoo Janjaweed military officers are the one confessing. Confessing. Are you paying attention? No one is forcing them to confess. It came from their heart because they couldn't bear it anymore. Look at it. That their commanders were forcing them to patrol, share intelligence. Imagine sharing intelligence. Imagine sharing intelligence with Boko Haram members in the name of repentant Boko Haram. You understand? Now, it is very, very simple, very easy to destroy the so-called zoo army. That's why they are inferior. Let us assume that these Boko Haram members are just there. They just, send them as spies. And they started with so-called surrendering to the government. And now, which is the trend, which is what has been happening over the years. They train them for 2 weeks and recruit them into the military, and now they are sharing intelligence together with the original soldiers. Can you imagine? Remember, they are Boko Haram members. They are terrorists. They now claim to have repented and surrendered to the government. Now, the same government, through its military, recruit them into the army. Remember, genuinely, at heart, they haven't repented. These are just number of spies sent by Boko Haram, a group to go and infiltrate the army. Imagine the kind of intelligence they will be sharing. Imagine how this is going to work when they decide to bring out maybe like 50 members of their group, and they claim to have surrendered, knowing fully well that they are going to recruit them into the army. And they are being recruited into the army. They are patrolling together, sharing intelligence together, doing everything together, living in the same camp. Living in the same camp. Imagine what their fate is going to be. That is the reason why Boko Haram always invade them and massacre them anyhow, because they know everything. They share intelligence, so there is nothing you can tell them. There is absolutely nothing you can tell them, because they know it all. They are all working together. And this is the problem we are having. In the East, what they do is, after giving these so-called repentant Boko Haram members 2 weeks training, and they will be, recruited into the army, they will give them the official Zoo Army uniform and send them to the East, where they will go and start massacring innocent people. The same thing they have been doing under Boko Haram, they will be as terrorists. Remember, as terrorists. They will now continue, which is to unalive people, massacre innocent people, set villages ablaze. They will now come into the official Nigerian military, and they will continue doing the same thing that they have been doing as Boko Haram terrorists. They will now be doing it as Nigerian army officials. That's why they come to the villages in the East, in Alibo, in Igbo land. They will come into the villages and they set the entire village ablaze and massacre innocent people. They will tag them IPOB. This has been happening for the past 7 years. Going to 10 years now, it has been happening like this in the East. And I want America to take note of this, because this has nothing to do with propaganda. This is reality. This is what we have been facing for the past 7, 8, 9 to 10 years. I'm telling you, since 2015, we have been facing this. Now, several Nigerian soldiers have expressed anger and fear over what they describe as a dangerous policy by the Nigerian army, compelling troops to work alongside repentant Boko Haram fighters in parts of Yobe and other states in the northeast, Sahara Reporters has learned. According to multiple military sources who spoke exclusively to Sahara Reporters, the soldiers said their commanders were forcing them to patrol, share intelligence, and even live in the same camps with former Boko Haram members who surrendered to the government despite this deep distrust and repeated cases of betrayal. I want you to know that I am not the one who is saying this. I'm only reading it and bringing it to your notice. This is coming from Nigerian military officers, soldiers who are fighting, the genuine soldiers who are fighting against insurgents in Nigeria, while their commanders, who are the ones fanning these terrorism, grooming these terrorists, who are the ones supplying arms and ammunition to these terrorists, are forcing the real soldiers to work with the so-called repentant Boko Haram terrorists. This is unbelievable. This is unacceptable. That is the reason why America must get this very news. America has to get this news ASAP. There is nothing you can tell me if you are watching this very news, especially those of you who live in America. You are under obligation to share the news, because Donald Trump must hear it. Oh yes, so that they know how they are preparing. They should know how deep this very impunity has eaten the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom government and its security apparatus. They have to know. Very, very important. Now they said, in our camp, we have repented Boko Haram members. We have repentant Boko Haram members. Those, he said, those ones that surrendered, they are working with them. They go on patrol together so that they can give them information about Boko Haram fighters still hiding in the bush. One soldier said, which information do you think they can give you if they are spies? pretending to have surrendered to government troops. Which kind of information do you think they can give you? That information they are giving you is just a little, because they are the ones taking your own information to their original members, who are the Boko Haram, terrorists. Unbelievable. They said the source explained that the arrangement, which was introduced as part of the Nigerian military's counterinsurgency strategy, has left many soldiers uncomfortable and suspicious. And I want you to understand that this thing did not start from today. You understand? It did not start from today. They are now mustering courage to speak up because of the current, situation between America and Nigeria. That is the reason why these soldiers now gather morale to speak up, even though they are speaking on the condition of anonymity. You understand? Even though they are speaking anonymously, but it has given them the courage to speak up, because it is not today, it did not start from today. They have been recruiting the so-called repentant Boko Haram into the official Nigerian army for very many years. It's in the public. Oh yes, we know it long ago. And this very feeling did not start from today within the soldiers. Oh yes. Now they said there are normal vigilantes and there are repentant Boko Haram. The soldier continued. So I don't think I have much to say. If you want to read it in details, you can use this very title, because the news is long, right? The news is very, very long, and I don't have to continue reading them because of my time. I don't want this very broadcast to be too long. So you can, of course, take this very, headline and type it in the Google, so you can read in full if you want. But at least I've given you the main information.